So Visa and Mastercard have agreed to pay merchants nearly $200 million to settle a class action suit that was filed nearly a decade ago around the rule changes that shifted liability for chargebacks
Mm,
to those merchants that did not install EMV compliant
right.
POS devices. Um, Previously banks would eat those losses. EMV was, the idea of EMV cards, and that was something that took forever too. If I remember correctly, it was like you have to have it done by 2016. Oh, make it 2017. And I think in the end, it was like 2021 before all
Yeah.
merchants really had to have it. But,
Yep.
they still, charged, alleged that Visa, MasterCard, along with Amex and Discover, violated antitrust laws by coordinating the liability shift.
Oh, that's an interesting angle. I hadn't really thought about that before, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they basically said, the four card companies were working in lockstep.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, so Discover and Amex previously settled a couple years ago, paid a combined 32.2 million to resolve the claims against them. The they all four credit card companies admitted to no wrongdoing. However, Visa agreed to pay 119.7 million, and Mastercard's going to pay 7.8 million into a common fund that merchants can,
Go after.
go after. There's no defined. I was reading reading some of these settlement agreements. They're so tedious, and they cite
Yes.
all these other cases and everything. But they said they sent out a million letters to a million merchants and only got about 30 responses.
Yeah.
But they believe that millions of merchants, were affected by this.
Right. Right.
So,
Hmm.
it's not a done deal. The settlement still has to be approved by a judge in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York. But
Okay.
apparently, you know, both sides seem to be happy with the settlement agreement, and they noted, which I thought was interesting. They went through five mediators before they could come up with this agreement.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was
Interesting.
kind of, yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Hmm.
So, and the whole thing about the liability shift. I mean, you're right. It is an interesting angle to take, but it was in merchants' best interest
Right. I mean,
to
I
do
don't
that.
remember, with the whole liability shift, I don't remember ever feeling like Visa and MasterCard and like overplayed their hand or were heavy-handed.
No,
I think they did a really good job with it. And again, as you pointed out earlier, I also feel like they were very lenient and giving people time. I remember the fuel stations especially.
the
They,
fuel stations, especially,
because
they
it was
had.
very hard to update those pumps and everything.
Right, and they kept. In fact, I think we even early on in our podcast we
Hmm.
interviewed a couple companies that were doing that, and
Exactly. Yep.
it was like they would have to rip out entire islands and put in new pumps just
Oh,
to,
it's tens of thousands of dollars for just a small gas station to swap their pumps out for EMV compliant
my if my memory serves me, it was something like $10,000 per pump.
per pump. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
something like that. But
Mm.
so anyway, okay. Next up, a new report from Bank of America shows that more shoppers are choosing gift cards, especially for special occasions.
Huh.
And I think here there's a economic thing at play. Prices of everything are going up, right?
Hmm.
You can't necessarily afford what you wanted to buy Johnny for Christmas,
Mm.
but maybe you can give him $100 gift card, and
Towards it.
that'll go towards it.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
I,
Interesting.
I see that. I mean, in my, I have to admit, most of my nieces and nephews are all grown up, so I don't. I mean, I buy gifts for their kids, and those are toys, and so it doesn't really matter,
Right. Right. Right.
But I could see that, especially for teenagers or young adults. Anyway,
Yeah.
three out of four consumers prefer purchasing gift cards over merchandise for holiday gifts.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Special occasion gifts, gift cards, gift cards for special occasions like graduation, anniversary, Christmas. Those purchases are up for both digital and physical gift cards.
Hmm. Wow, that's interesting that they're both up. You kind of almost expect the physical one to be down a little bit and then it converted over to digital. But when they're
Right.
both up, that's very interesting.
And it's very interesting. I think digital was up like 6% and physical was up by like around 4%. So they were very close.
Yeah,
They weren't like dramatically up either,
right.
But I thought this was really interesting. 71% of consumers are prompted to buy gift cards in stores. So that kind of shows that
Mm,
the physical ones, I know I go, like, for example, I'm doing some work around the house. I have this thing, there's uh, I think you probably have it up by you, Giant Eagle. It's a chain of
right.
grocery stores.
Mhm.
And they have a really great fuels program where, your
Yeah, you
purchases
buy your
go
groceries and you get money off
right. So
per
I
gallon.
will always go and buy, like I'm doing a project around the house, and I needed things from Home Depot. So I go into, Giant Eagle and buy Home Depot gift cards.
Right.
Gives me, I mean, I put a new bathroom in my house when I came in here, when I first moved into the log cabin, and I had enough points just from my Home Depot cards to fill up my truck,
Hmm.
which was, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is that, especially stores like that have these huge kiosks full of gift cards for every conceivable store and
Hmm. Yeah.
restaurant, you know. Um, okay, so just some more data. One in three consumers are asking family and friends to give them gift cards instead of gifts.
Yep. Yep.
68% of consumers received gift cards for the holidays in 2024.
Hmm.
And though Generation Z, those born between the late 1990s and the early 2010s, as well as millennials, are driving digital gift card sales for holiday purchases.
Hmm.
But the message that B of A said, the message from all of its research is that it's important for merchants to offer both digital and
Physical.
physical,
Hmm.
to get the most bang for their buck.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. That's very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by the gift card thing. I know we've had like Factor 4 on here several times, and
Hmm.
yeah, so it's a very interesting topic for sure.
And that's something that, I think a lot of ISOs and Asians just they don't really pay attention to.
Right, right,
And it's like, almost an easy. I mean, I don't know about the technology. I know it can be a hassle to convert somebody's gift card
right.
program over. But
Hmm.
if somebody doesn't have a gift card program, for
Right,
example,
right.
to put one in takes a little work, but it can make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
I have a friend, a guy I know that's opening a pizza joint, and I was thinking about you, the story you tell about the guy, the client you had who
Right.
gave out the $10 gift cards. And I was saying to him, I said,
Right.
"Hey man, you should do that. You're like literally down the street from a high school, a middle school, and an elementary school.
Right.
Think of,
Do a
all the
do a do a
parents."
fundraiser, get $5 gift cards, and just give them to the school and let them have the kids go sell it for a fundraiser, and then you
Right?
get 500 people, 1,000 people in your community that all get a $5 gift card. Well, they're gonna come in and spend $50. So
Easily, easily.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna, um, direct him to this podcast.
yeah, there you go, there you go.
Don't listen to me. Listen to my friend. He knows.
Nice.
Okay, so next up, I found this very interesting that Americans still like cash despite everything that is digital.
Hmm.
And you and I have talked about this a lot. It tends to be maybe generational. I was getting dressed this morning and I found a wad of cash in my shirt pocket. And it had gone, you clearly it was laundered, right?
Right, right,
Laundered,
right.
quote unquote, laundered money. But it
Yes,
was like, yeah, I must have stuck it there because I didn't know where to put it, right?
right. You
And it just shows you
you laundered it legally.
I laundered it legally,
Yeah.
yes, right. But it just shows you, like it happens to me all the time. I'll reach into a pocket like,
Right,
where did that money come from?
right,
But
right.
so the wealth management firm Empower did a survey. They found that close to 2 in 5 consumers, 38%, say cash feels more real than digital money.
Mm,
In practice, however, dollar bills may be fading from daily life. Just 1 in 5 say they use it only a few times a year, and 18% said they use it daily. I'm probably close to that.
Right.
I don't use it daily, probably weekly would be closer to it.
Right.
But again, like gift cards, I think the popularity of cash is being dictated by the economic winds, you know.
Hmm. Yeah,
25% said that they view cash as a safety net in times of financial downturns.
of course.
I remember I've had friends who, when a nor'easter's coming through or a hurricane's coming through, they go to the bank and go to the ATM and get a bunch of cash out because they know that chances are good that the telecom's going to be down, so the credit card networks are going to be down,
Right. Right.
and they'll have cash to buy whatever they need, like
Yeah.
gas or so
Mm.
forth.
Yep.
Um, According to this survey, 25% say they view cash as a quote safety net in times of financial downturns, and
Right.
1 in 5 have increased their cash holdings over the past year due to economic uncertainty.
Mm.
So how do Americans use cash? Half of those surveyed said they use physical money for tips. I'm in that
Yeah.
category.
Yeah. I still
I
do that too. Yeah, I definitely use cash for tips.
Yeah, yeah, and a third use it to get discounts for paying with cash. The
Mm.
discount for cash thing,
Yep.
which I thought
Interesting.
was interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
So finally, I said last week, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, that I don't get a chance to do crime reporting very much, but
Right.
we have another one. Uh,
Okay.
Crypto ATMs. And in
Sure.
fact, you actually sent me an email on this a few weeks ago. And then I have been reading some more data on it, and it's really crazy. I mean, ATM machines that accept cash for cryptocurrency are becoming a favorite tool with scammers,
Mm.
according to numerous media reports as well as law enforcement. It's old. It's an old scam, really, just with a new twist. Like those romance schemes
Hmm.
or calls from loved ones that they've been arrested and they need money for an attorney or a bail
Right.
bondsman,
Right.
which is it's a deep fake, but
Right. Sure.
or there's the one that I once got taken for a ride over, which was that my computer had been hacked.
Right. Exactly.
And in that case, they wanted me to go out and buy gift cards, which they would then take the numbers for
Right. Right.
and transfer it to money. But here, people are being instructed to deposit cash into Bitcoin ATMs, directing it to a specific crypto wallet. And it's not like when I did it, it was like, maybe a couple $100. Now we're talking thousands of dollars. CNN reports that one such ATM in Prescott, Arizona, was the scene of at least four such scams in a week this past summer. They
Mm.
interviewed four women who, in the space of that time, combined lost $54,000
Mm.
fed into the ATM bill by bill.
Wow. Good night. They were
You're
standing there for a little while.
Yeah, well, each of them. I mean, one was 25,000, one was like 9,000, and then the other was whatever the difference is,
Yeah.
18,000, I think it was something like
Right.
that.
Right.
According to the FBI, Americans lost $240 million in crypto ATM scams last year, and I would suspect that that's a
Wow.
dope off.
That is a ton of money.
That's a ton of money, but I bet you it's a lot more because you know, one of the things that research I've read says is that most people are too ashamed to admit that they've been bilked. I mean, I know I was really embarrassed. I didn't tell any of my friends for probably a couple of years that I got,
Right.
scammed out of a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
Uh, and also the problem, of course, is that most, if not all, of these crypto ATM scammers are offshore, so they
Right.
can't be. Um, the proliferation has alarmed authorities, obviously. In recent months, the Secret Service has even visited shops where crypto ATMs are located and are handing out paper warnings about the scams.
Mm.
And the Treasury Department issued a, a, a bulletin in August urging vigilance against these frauds.
Mm.
So,
Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's the scammers are always trying to find a new way, so
Always find, like who was it? Willie Sutton said, why do you rob? Somebody asked him why he robbed banks. That's where the money is. And now it's ATMs.
yeah, exactly. Wow, that's so interesting. And that kind of goes to the strength and weakness of crypto with the anonymity and all of that. And, makes it really
Right?
hard, obviously, to track, really impossible to track these types of situations. So,
Absolutely impossible. And then, the the ATM owners have no reason to really,
yeah,
stop
it's
it.
not hurting them at all.
It's
Right.
not hurting them at all.
They're
They're, in
probably
fact,
they're
they're
probably collecting a fee to do it. So,
in fact, one of the stories I read said that they're also marking up the crypto, in addition
of
to the
course.
fee.
Right.
Why not? Because crypto's a volatile thing anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
probably making bank on that. So,
Oh,
and
I
they're
bet you
doing
they
it
are.
legally.
Yeah, really
So,
are. So,
wow. Very interesting
well,
stuff, Patty.
yeah, that's it for this week, James.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Patty. As always, always love hearing the insights and what's going on today in payments.